The beginning of part 3. The beginning of part 3.
I am now going to do Stinking Dead Fish Heads by Mike Fazio.
Stinking Dead Fish Heads by Michael Fazio.
Wine, please. Thank you, Stanley. Stanley's my man here on the boat. What we do with these is we take these little wires, like this, and we take one of these stinking dead fish heads that we have to break apart later with some water.
They're frozen. At least if they're frozen, they don't stink so much.
Fish heads eyes, but we have to thaw them out first. This is my favorite job in the world. It's called the Stinking Dead Fish Head job.
Stinking Dead Fish Head job.
Because they stink. Now we'll take these over to the water over here. Then you put the water on for me.
What you do is you get a box of 40 pounds of stinking dead fish heads that are frozen. You thaw them out and you put the wires, you wire the fish heads to the traps. And that is what you do on the way out to work, out to the site.
Okay. Thank you, Stan. Look at that.
That's about 500 feet from my house.
Now kind of just pan around, go back and forth, and there's a nice lighthouse over here. That's how we know where to get home at night. Just keep it on. Get around there, around there.
And here we go.
You did see that light flashing all the time, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah. And then I wanted to get the gloves on.
If that light stops flashing, you gotta let me know, because I accidentally hit the button.
Okay. Then we have to get our gloves on. I need my gloves. Tommy, look at that beautiful sunrise.
Somewhere in there and see what's happening.
That's a sunrise. We were probably headed out about, could have been 7 o'clock, maybe quarter to 7.
What? Don't make me tell you on the channel.
Now we're heading out to the ocean. The traps are anywhere from 10 feet of water to 120 feet of water. We're going to pull deep today, and that means to put the rope into the hauler, which is a hydraulic pulley on the back or side of the vessel, and you put the rope into the hauler and it hauls it up. However, if you get your hand stuck between the rope and the pulley, it clips off your fingers, your hand, or your arm, and your arm falls in the water. And that does happen on occasion. Just happened a few years ago. And it happens for different reasons. It happens if you're not paying attention, but mostly it happens when there's a fish hook in the line and you're cleaning the line off with your hands, and the fish hook is through the line, and then it grabs your hand and pulls your hand through the hauler, which is why I only clean the line with a heavy-duty brush. But Jimbo used to get mad because it wore out the brushes, and I used to tell him it's better to wear out the brush than my hand, because the theory is there's only a few hooks in all the lines, and you're supposed to see a fish hook coming up out of the water at 35 miles an hour that might be on the other side of the line where you can't even see it, but you're supposed to see this black line, black fish hook with seaweed on top of it, and know that the fish hook is in the line, because otherwise you wear out $2 brushes. But if the fish hook grabs you, it pulls your hand through the hauler. So it's a trade-off between pulling your hand through the hauler and telling the captain to go to hell. You're not putting your hand on the line. Most guys become submissive to the captain and tell him okay, and they clean the line with their gloves on by running their hand along the outside, pulling the slime off before it gets onto the boat. And of course, that wouldn't be me.
Like a nice, because you always see the same thing. Right? You know, just that little circle.
Well, when I take it in next time.
Come on now, flash it.
Getting ready to make a bed.
That's bed.
In bed. That was our break time, because for the rest of the day, the only break you get is between hauling traps, which could be 15 seconds, could be, a minute and a half, it could be 3 minutes. It depends on the weather, the wind, and the waves. Now the fish heads are thawed out, and we're going back to work. And those are little galvanized wires that you stick through the fish head's eyes and tie it in a little knot, and then you tie those into the traps later on. Then you tie those into the traps later on.
Putting the rods through fish heads to set up for the mighty lobster.
Dead, stinking fish heads. And believe me, those fish heads were rotting before they froze them, or on the way to being rotted before they froze them. Then they pack them in boxes in the fish house. Sometimes it takes another 3 or 4 days to get the fish to freeze, because there's so many boxes wrapped around so many other boxes. And then you take them out of those boxes, out of the warehouse, out of the ice box, and put them on the boat, sometimes overnight, with just a piece of plywood on top of them, and then they rot some more. And then the next day, if you didn't use all the fish heads, you would take the fish heads and leave them in the back of the boat with some ice, and it could be there 7, 8, 9, 10 days they could be rotting before you get to use them. And that's what the lobsters like to eat. That was the lucky fish head. He goes back home. I would choose a lucky fish head every once in a while. Every once in a while I'd get a lucky fish head.
I'll zoom in on one of them heads.
Believe me when I tell you, them things stunk.
Oh, Michael's really enjoying this, Mom.
I love fishing. This is my favorite thing to do. I'm putting some fish heads on, so we need some wires, Stanley. Thank you. Oh, this one's going to be a lot of fun,
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, when the wire goes through, sometimes the eyes pop because they're so rotted, and they want to blow up, and they blow up dead, stinking fish head, rotted eye matter all over your face.
He's got a necklace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the end of part 3 the end of part 3, and part 4 is coming up.